Hi, Tim Unkert here, and in this video we're going to be building this landing page right here. It has a bunch of sections. We're not going to use any CSS frameworks. We're just going to use SASS and CSS. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to bring up my terminal, and I'm going to cd into my projects folder, and I'm going to make a folder for this. So I'm going to mkdir, make directory. So let's call it landing page SASS, because we are going to use SASS files and, well, SCSS files, and we're going to change into the landing page SASS folder. For this tutorial, you will need to have the SASS CLI command line installed. I have a video on how to do that. I'll leave that in the description. So what I'm going to create to start off is going to be an index.html and a style.scss file. Okay, so now I am going to open up the index.html in a text editor. I'm going to use Micro tonight. Use a bunch of different ones, but I feel like Micro tonight, and the theme I have is Gotham, in case you are wondering about that. All right, so we are going to start by declaring the doc type. That's HTML, and I'm going to have my opening and closing HTML tags. Okay, and we have the head of our document, and close the head, and the body of our document, and we'll close the body. Okay, and let's do some of the character sets, or the character set. So meta-char set equals UTF-8. Okay, we got to have a tag for the viewport, so meta name. Although we aren't mobile optimizing this tonight, we're just building it for a desktop. So we're just doing the CSS for that tonight. Just keep that in mind. But it's always good to put this tag in. Width equals device width. Initial scale equals 1.0, and that's that. And then we'll put a little description. So the content is going to be, this is a landing page built with CSS/SASS. And we'll close that. We're going to have a title. I'm just going to call it SASS landing page. We're going to make a fake web agency again, as you may have noticed, and we're going to have a link, and it's going to go to a style sheet, and we haven't created it yet, but we're going to use the command line to do it. So we're going to create a style.css sheet from the style.scss. Okay, and you'll see how we do that in a moment. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to begin the header/nav bar. So I'm just going to make a note, begin nav bar. Okay. And I'm going to start with a div with an ID of header. Okay. And then within that div, I'm going to have a div with a class of container. Okay. And then within that, I'm going to have a nav. Within the nav, I'm going to have a div with an ID equal to logo. Okay. And we're going to have to get some of these images that I'm going to use. I'm going to have an image. The source is, and I'll show you where I'm going to get them. It's going to be in the images folder, and it's going to be the unicorn.png. This is going to be that little small unicorn. Okay. I'm going to actually add a little 2 non-breaking spaces here. After that image, we should give some alt text for the image. So alt is a unicorn. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, I'm going to have a span after that that just says Tim Web Design. This is my fake web design agency. So you might have seen that from some of the other videos that I've been doing recently. We're going to close out the logo div. Okay, and then we're going to do an unordered list with list item with links inside. The links aren't going to go anywhere, but we'll we'll use those to, for our nav menu. I'm going to do Control D to make 5 of these. Okay, and that works in the micro text editor. Okay, and then I'm going to have a home link in my menu. I'm going to have an about link. I'm going to have a contact link. I'm going to have a portfolio link, and I'm going to have a blog link. Okay. I'm going to close out my unordered list, and then close out my nav, and then close out my div with the container, and then close out my header. And we're just going to make a note that this is the end of the nav bar. All right, so we've got that done. That's nice. And now we're going to, let's begin the hero section. Okay. All right, so in the hero section, I'm going to have a div with an ID equal to hero. Okay. In there, I'm going to have a div with a class equal to container. Okay. And then within that, we're going to now begin the left part of the hero. Okay. All right, so that's going to have a div with an ID equal to left hero, if I can spell. Within that div, we're going to have a heading 3 that just says web design period. And then below that, we're going to have an H4 that just says defined period. Yeah, whatever. And below that, we're going to have a P paragraph. It just says HTML. We'll close the paragraph. We're going to have a period after the HTML. It's a very complete sentence there. Then we're going to have a series CSS paragraph with that. Then we're going to have an unordered list. And in that unordered list, we're going to have 5 list items. Okay, and I'm just doing Control D to quickly copy those. So in case you're wondering. All right, so we'll go up, and within CSS, we're going to have Bootstrap. And we're going to have Tailwind. We're going to have Bulma. And we're going to have Foundation. And we're going to have SASS. Okay. Next, we're going to have a paragraph. It just says JavaScript. Okay, and let's see. We have another unordered list with 5 list items. Okay. And within these, we're going to have React, Angular, Vue, Svelte. I think that's how you spell it. TypeScript. Okay. And then we're going to end the left part of the hero after we close out this div. Okay, you notice I'm just making little comments there. And to make a comment nice and easy in micro, you just do Control and /, and it's really nice. That makes a quick comment of whatever line you're on. Or I think if you're, let me see. So if you want to, highlight this text by holding Shift and pressing the up arrow key and then comment it, look at that. It's commented, then it's uncommented. Very nice. Very nice little feature, which I like a lot about this program. Okay. All right, so we did the left hero, so now we have to begin the right hero. That's where we're going to have that unicorn. So we'll begin the right hero. Okay, and I'm going to have a div with an ID equal to right hero. Inside of that, I'm going to have an image with a source. We're going to have to get this. It's going to be images unicorn.svg. Okay, and we're going to close out that div. So we're going to end the right part of the hero. Okay. And then we're going to close out the container div and then the hero div. Okay, so we're going to end the hero. All right, so we got that section done. Now, so if let's go back to our site. So we've done the hero section, that's this part. Now we have this part to do, the simple yet sophisticated, with this stuff here, okay? All right, so we're gonna do a div with an ID equal to, actually, let's make a note. We're gonna begin info section 1. Okay, we're gonna make a div with an ID equal to info section 1. Okay, and within that, we're gonna have a div with a class equal to container. Okay, and then we're going to begin the left info section. All right, so, all right. And we're going to have a div with an ID equal to left info section 1. And we're going to say something like simple yet sophisticated. Period. Close out that heading 3. Next, we're going to have a paragraph. And I'm going to go here and just copy this. Now when I wrote this out, I didn't have it capitalized, but we'll see. We're going to make it capitalized. So maybe I'll just type out the next one. So sometimes just HTML5 and CSS3 will do the trick. So I'm getting these capitalized actually in the CSS. Don't pay for what you don't need. Okay, and then we'll close out this div. So we're ending the left info section 1. All right. And then we're going to begin the right info section 1. Okay. So we have a div with an ID equal to right info section 1. And I'll show you why using SASS is kind of nice, especially when I'm using these long names here. I know I'm going quick through this, but I'm trying to get the markup so we can get into the SASS, the SCSS portion, and then I'll show you how it generates the CSS portion and how it's nice because you can nest things in the SCSS, and then it's maybe a little bit advantageous to just writing plain CSS. Although you could do that. I mean, there's nothing special about the SASS that I can't do with just plain CSS, but maybe you'll see this as an advantage later. Okay. All right. So within that div, we have a div with an ID equal to right left. Is what I named it, which is a little confusing. Because I'm going to have, on the right-hand side, I'm going to have those two pictures, right? So I have to have this one and then this one. So I have to have two sections. That's why I'm doing that. So this one is right, left, info section 1. Okay, and let's put this as the left part of the right info section 1. That's going to make a little note, okay? Within this, we're going to have an image with a source equal to images, and we'll have an HTML-5.svg. We're going to go get that from flaticon.io, I think it's called, or .co. No, flaticon.co. And then I'll close out this div. All right, so just make a note. And the left part of the right info section 1 makes it a little bit easier. You have to go back and check this stuff out. Made all these notes. Begin right part of the right info section 1. It might be a little bit verbose in this, but you know, whatever. All right, we're gonna have a div with an ID equal to right, info section 1. Okay, and within that we have an image. Source is going to be images and css.svg. Okay, and I actually should be adding alt tags for these, so I'm going to do that. So this first one was HTML5, and then this next one is we'll have CSS3. Okay, that helps with SEO, screen readers, and that kind of stuff. Okay, and we're ending the right part of the right info section 1. Okay. All right, I'm going to close out this container div and then close out the info section div, and then we'll say that we're ending info section 1 here. Okay, and then we're going to begin info section 2 at this point. Okay, so I'm going to save it and just show you. So we got through this. This is info section 1 with the HTML5 and the CSS3 symbol. And now we're going to move into this info section here. Okay, after that, we'll do the form and then the footer. Okay, we'll do up all the markup and for this video, and then we'll get into the SASS. So, all right, we're going to do this section now. Okay. All right, so in this section, we're going to have a div with an ID of info section 2. Okay, and a div with a class equal to container. And then we're going to begin the left info section 2. That's going to be the words. We're going to have those images on the right. So within that, we're going to have a div with an ID equal to left info section 2. And then we're going to begin the left info section. So let's check this out, what we're doing. Actually, we have the text on the right. So we have these two pictures on the left. All right. So we're beginning the left info section 2, if that makes sense. All right, and that's how I did it. You know, probably I could have done that a little bit better, but this is the way I got it to work. So we have left info section 2. Okay, and then I have an image with a source equal to images javascript.svg, and within there, close out that div, and we're going to end the left info section 2 at this point. Okay, and to get to the end of the line in micro, I'm just tapping Alt-E. Okay, that brings you to the end of the line real quick. I forgot the shortcut for the beginning of the line, actually, but I can look that up online. But, you know, to go to the end of the line quick, it's just Alt-E, which kind of gets me to the end of the comment quick. So that's how I'm doing that. Just in case you're wondering. All right, so now we got to begin the right-left info section 2, if that makes sense. All right, so we're going to have a div with an ID of right, and I'm going to show you how I did this. So, because when I'm doing this out, you know, when I'm writing the CSS for this, I have to be looking at these classes. I'm not going to remember all this stuff that I came up with. So I'm going to show you how to do a vertical split on micro, and then we're actually going to do a horizontal split and bring up our terminal to convert this to just the SCSS to CSS. I'll show you how to do that as well. And maybe learn a little bit about this text editor as well. You know, I'm probably just scratching the surface of it. I've just been playing with it a little bit. You know, I play with Vim, NeoVim, all that stuff. Anyway, so all right, so we have a div ID of right left info section 2. Okay, and within that we have an image source equal to images. and then we're going to have the PHP, so php.svg. Okay, and I should have the alt text. I keep forgetting that. So this is for PHP. Up here, it's going to be for JavaScript. Okay, all right. And then we're going to close out this div, and we're going to end the right left info section 2. Okay, all right. After that, we are going to close out this div, and we are ending the left, the whole left with the 2 pictures, info section 2. Okay, and I'm going to go to the end of this, and then we're going to begin the right info section 2. All right. So I have a div with an ID equal to right info section 2, which is what I put. Yep. And I'm just conferring with my notes. H3, we can be complex. We're going to close out that. And then we're going to say sometimes you need something a bit more complex. Close out that paragraph. And we can say whether it be customized WordPress or another PHP project, Node.js, React, or Angular. This is going, so I have to watch where I'm typing here. Pull this up. Svelte or a combination of something else. All right. Whatever it is, we have you covered. Okay. Let's close out this div. So this ends the right info section 2. All right. And then from there, we are going to, whoops, didn't mean to do that. We're going to close out the container div and then close out the info section 2 div. So this ends info section 2. All right. So let's save it. And where we are at right now, we just got done through this section. So now we have to create the contact us section. So we're going to begin contact us section. All right. Okay. And I'm going to have a div with an ID equal to form. And then within that div class, we're going to have a container again. Okay. And then we're going to have a form. We're not going to have we're not going to have actually be functional. This is just to show you the CSS. If we did, we'd probably want to use a method of post, especially if we're sending sensitive information. Versus get, that's, see that in URL when you use get. So we want to use post. And, if we had an action, it would be like, form.php or something like that. Below that, we're going to have a label for the full name. Okay, that's going to be the first thing, and they're going to have to enter in their full name. And we'll close out our label tag. Below the label tag, we'll have an input type equal to text, an ID equal to full name, the name equal to full name. Now, this isn't necessarily important for the visual part of it, just to make it look like it is, but it's good practice to put this stuff in. We're going to make it required. Again, we're just doing the visual part. But it's nice to put that in. I put a line break there. And then we're going to do a label for email. We're going to do just email. Close out our label tag. Below that, we're going to do input type is equal to email. Okay. ID equals email. Name equals email. And that is required. As well, we're going to make that required. Next up, we're going to have a label for the message, because there's a part where they can put the message. So we'll just say message, close out that label. I had a line break after this. I don't know if I really need that, but then we have a text area ID. In fact, I don't think I need it, but it's not going to hurt. Name is going to be message. Put an ID equal to message as well if we wanted to do something with that. And then we'll close out the text area tag. Okay. And after that, we're going to have our button. So we're going to have an input class with btn-submit is what I'm going to make the class. Now I only have one button in this, so I could just have btn. Type is going to equal submit. ID equals submit. And name equals submit. Submit. All right, and then we'll close out our form, close out our container div, and close out our ID div, the ID of form. Okay, so this ends our contact us section, ends the markup for that. Okay, and we've gotten almost done. So we're done with the markup. We haven't done any of the styling. After that, we have to do this footer. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to begin our footer section. All right, and we're going to have a div with an ID equal to footer. Okay, and then we have a div with a class equal to container. All right, and then we have a paragraph, and we're going to say something like copyright. Copy, the copyright symbol, which is that ampersand copy semicolon, the thing in orange there. 2021, Tim Web Design, our fake web design agency, all rights reserved. Now we're getting some pictures from Plaid Icon. So, you know, they say on their website, please leave attribution. It might be in the footer, especially because I'm doing the free version. So, you know, if I was going to put this up as a real site, I would have a link to the image attribution. So I have 2 line breaks and then a link. And I'm just going to say image attribution page. And I'm going to close out that paragraph, close out the container div, close out the footer ID div, and this ends the footer section. And we'll get rid of the space here and just save. Okay, so that's our markup. So now this has no real CSS. We haven't even created the style sheet yet. So let's take a look. And we don't have any of the images, but this will end part 1 of this tutorial. We'll stop the video now, and then we'll get the images in the next one and continue with the CSS. I call this landing page SASS. It was the one I think I did, right? Because yeah. Okay, and you'll see that there's no styling and it looks pretty bad, but we've got the markup done. So we're going to start with the SCSS page in the next video, and we'll go from there. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, smash the like button, right? Smash the like button. Don't just hit it. Smash the like button. Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, as it really helps the channel grow and helps to keep me motivated to making these daily web design videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.